Hi everyone. So for my learning analysis paper, I started from the very beginning, from birth, from the very creation of our beings. Even in the womb, we are given and labeled these identities based on our biological sex. And whether they may be true or not, after we're born, these identities follow us throughout life. We are first socialized with our family, and they have this preconceived notion that whatever gender we're born as, that's the gender that we will continue to identify with for the rest of our lives. And so we are socialized based on that gender that we were given. Girls are taught to be feminine and that they need to grow up, get married, and have kids at a young age. Boys, on the other hand, are taught to be protectors. They're taught to be tough, to show little emotion, that when they grow up, they're going to be the breadwinners of the family. From our families and from our society, they teach us the social norms of how each gender is supposed to be behaving. They teach us how we should hold different values for ourselves. I've noticed before that women are not really encouraged to explore sexually, while men are always praised for how much they get out there. It's kind of the gender double standard. And these standards follow us throughout life. As we grow up and we enter the workforce, employers have these ideas about us just based off of our looks. And that was especially significant within the history of the United States. I talk to my grandparents, I work with elderly, and they would tell me stories about all these incredible jobs, but they didn't hold them for very long. Some of these women were running groups of men for a computer system for the government, and they faced resentment from these men, and they were honestly probably being paid less than the men who were beneath them. They didn't hold these jobs because those jobs were just placeholders until they got married. And then their jobs transitioned from being out in society to being homemakers and having domestic jobs. Even then, they didn't make that much money, and that affected them in the long run with their retirement. I believe it was Mayer who discussed how Social Security provides the retirement funds and how those funds are based off of how much you worked and how long you worked, what type of job you worked. So, of course, there are going to be differences with the retirement funds that women and men receive. I know a lot of women that I've worked with, they don't receive that much. They rely on their husbands or their spouses' funds. A lot of them are alone now because their husbands have passed, so they have that life insurance. But even so, it's not nearly enough to carry themselves, and it's less money than any man would ever get from their era. I think that it is incredibly important to explore these gender differences and these different dynamics within society, because it's a part of our history, and exploring these and questioning these aspects. We need to have this conversation in order to change society for the better, for the future women leaders, for our future daughters. I've had a wonderful time in this class. I've learned so much, and I just want to say thank you. Bye.